Nolan Stolz here, the composer of the Route 66 suite. In this video, I'm going to talk about where I got the idea for the 26 gas stations movement and share some then and now photos along Route 66. The title is an homage to artist Ed Ruscha's photography book from 1963 titled 26 Gasoline Stations. I really like this collection for a variety of reasons, but mostly because it shows us that we can find beauty or merely interest in something as common as a gas station. Beyond that, gas stations have personal stories, but I'll get into that later. Today's classic car culture loves gas stations from the mid-century, but the stations in the book were contemporary at that time. So from that perspective, these were pedestrian. I started my Route 66 suite inspiration travels on July 1st. Coming from South Carolina, I started in East St. Louis so that I could make it to Oklahoma City in time to see the last day of the Ruscha exhibit at the Contemporary Arts Museum. Although I certainly enjoyed the whole show, I was particularly hoping to see the 26 gasoline station photos in person. Most of the pages from the book were in this display. Before I ventured out on the road, I spent 26 weeks figuring out where the stations in Ruscha's book were. His photographs were taken in October 1962, and I soon came to discover that most of the buildings no longer stand, and none of them are still operating as gas stations. There are a few that I have yet to confirm where they were, but I have a pretty good idea. I did not put all 26 in this video, by the way. Even though the stations are no longer there, I wanted to visit the space where Ruscha once stood and decided to take a photograph and include in his collection. We'll start here in West Hollywood, and thanks to the uniquely shaped window of the former Har Omar restaurant, I was able to determine the location of this Texaco station. This is Needles, California, clearly now just an empty lot. The next one is in Daggett, California, and this is actually the newer station. Thanks to aerial photography over the years, I was able to tell that the one that Ruscha photographed was in this lot, but in a slightly different location. In Ruscha's book, this station is listed as being near Ludlow, California. It is closer to Newberry Springs, but in 1962 maps it would have said Newberry. We're standing in front of the Galaxy Diner in Flagstaff, Arizona, looking at what is now student housing for Northern Arizona University. At this spot used to be this old Phillips 66 station. The next page in Ruscha's book show two gas stations in Williams, Arizona. Now a police station and a Mexican restaurant. The next station helped shape my vision for the 26 gas stations movement of the Route 66 suite. Although no longer a gas station, the Jackrabbit Trading Post is still a family-owned business, and they are wonderful people. Standing on this corner in Winslow, Arizona, I took a picture of the former site of this El Paso gas station. A local that helped me confirm the location was excited when I showed her the Ruscha photo because she used to work there and had stories to share. To confirm the location of the Beeline gas station in Holbrook, Arizona, I found the address of the drive-in restaurant next door. In doing so, I came across nostalgic memories of the drive-in written in online forums. I was beginning to realize my piece wasn't going to be just about gas stations, like this one in Kingman, Arizona becoming a Kia dealership, but rather the stories and the relationships we make, like getting to know Route 66 author Jim Hinckley, who worked at that site when it was a Penske, or getting to know artist Jerry McClanahan, who has a lovely painting based on this Dixie station in Lupton, Arizona. So rather than representing Ruscha's 26 stations in the music, I decided to choose my own 26. Figuring out where Remy Jim's used to be and then visiting that place were the first steps in seeking inspiration, but I have no real connection to this place, so I won't make it one of the 26 for my piece. The one in Tucumcari, New Mexico took a while to find, but once I saw the arrow pointing to downtown, it was obvious where this ENCO station once stood. Not sure about this one in Amarillo, but it might be at the northwest corner of Johnson and Amarillo Boulevard. The other one in Amarillo, however, I do know where that one is. This station became the subject of a whole series of works by Ruscha. This one is in Conway, Texas, and I've yet to find any information on this station and cafe. We're driving east through Shamrock, Texas, and on the left you'll see the former Ranger Motel, which is now this Shamrock Country Inn, a very underrated and underpressed motel, by the way. Next door is the Mobil station that appeared in Ruscha's 26 Gasoline Stations, as well as in his 5 Views from the Panhandle. And now we're headed eastbound in Vega, Texas, and on the left, we're going to check out this Texaco station. We've now reached Oklahoma City, which was Ruscha's destination in 1962. At this station here, which had for years had been misidentified as being at 35th and May, I figured out it was actually at 36th and May. Now, one might think that this would be the final station in Ruscha's book, as we've been generally traveling west to east, but the final one is actually out of order. And so we head back west to Groom, Texas. Ruscha cleverly places this Fina station as his final station. Today, at the site of this station, is a mobile home where J.B. Wortham lives. J.B. told me that he grew up here and has owned the property for 42 years, and that his grandfather worked at the station and lived in a house behind it. So those are most of Ruscha's 26 gasoline stations, and like I mentioned before, I've chosen my own 26. The only one in common is the Jackrabbit Trading Post. Also, Ruscha ends in Oklahoma City, whereas I'm getting inspiration from stations along Route 66 all the way to Chicago. For instance, this former station in Baxter Springs, Kansas, is now a visitor center manned by Dean Crazy Legs Walker, the man who inspired the Tomater character in the movie Cars. Or this former station in the ghost town of Arlington, Missouri, which is a very sad but touching story, and I'll save that for another time. So if you're a conductor interested in the Route 66 suite or just the 26 gas stations movement, check out my website or my Facebook page. But if you're a Route 66 enthusiast and you're interested in this sort of thing, check out my Patreon page. Subscribe. I've got way more content there. That's patreon.com/Route 66 suite. Thanks for watching.